Afternoon guys, it's Monday the 14th of April and this one is a bit of a strange one. I have literally just finished at the gym. The time is, let me see, 3:41 in the afternoon. And the situation today is we've had a customer who has got in touch with us who's been waiting on a pair of skates for a little while. They couldn't make it over to the store within normal operating hours, so we are actually on the way into the store. Pamela's actually already there. I have literally just finished at the gym and picked up the message to say that I'm heading to the store just now. So the situation is I'm going to the shop to do a heat mould and the first sharpening on a pair of skates on my day off. Now, we don't necessarily have an issue with doing that. It's one of these situations where I feel that we will go above and beyond for customers if they're nice enough to us. And it's not necessarily the fact if they're nice enough to us, it's just we understand that not every single customer can make it in on our times, because we have got slightly awkward times because of Pamela's other job and obviously the jobs that I was working, which I am not working anymore. But one of the things that we have said the whole way through is we will try and get a way to try and make life easier for customers. So that's one of the things that we are actually in the process of doing right this very second. So I am on my way to go and do the heat mould and sharpening right now. I might not film any more of the actual heat mould and sharpening process. I might just pick up after we've been in the store. Obviously I'm not on my main cameras at the moment, I'm on my phone. So I'm not 100% sure how this is going to look or if it's going to pick up very well, gauging the fact that my phone's a couple of years old and I'm due an upgrade. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, off to the store we go, and then I'll pick up with you after the heat mould and the sharpening. So that's the customer gone, been and gone.
I need to do my wee intro because I never got time to do that.
Sorry, I done one. I don't know how this camera's going to go. I don't know if it's just me that's shaking because I've still got pre-workout in my system, or if it's just the fact that my phone's knackered. I dropped it a couple of days ago, and when I watch videos, the bottom part of the actual screen starts to shake a little bit.
No, it's you that's shaking.
Is it me that's shaking? Are you sure it's me that's shaking?
Yeah, it's you that's shaking.
It's me that's shaking. So, anyway, right, that's basically the heat mould and the sharpening done. As I said earlier on, the wee caveat for the start of the video, that was something that we went out our way to do for this customer because the customer was overly nice about asking us if it was possible, because there was a camp that their kid was meant to be going to tomorrow. Now it then turns out that the camp isn't tomorrow, the camp is on Wednesday, and she could have made it over tomorrow, but it doesn't matter.
Everybody gets their schedule wrong. I get it wrong.
Exactly.
Regularly.
Hey, we can't even get here early, so technically this is what I'm saying is we're here early for tomorrow.
We're here early for tomorrow, so we're here at 4:25 on a Monday, so that we're early for the Tuesday. So if anybody says anything, we were here on time. We just happened to be here 24 hours on time.
Right, so what I did when I was waiting for the heat mould to finish was I removed this part of the palm. As you can see, the palm is not exactly the greatest condition. There's a big hole in it. I managed to have a look at the main part of the palm. It's not burst all the way through yet, but I have actually cut out a template. I used the template of the old part and a new part ready to get put in. So that's tomorrow's first job. So we'll see you again tomorrow for more fun for Cold Blooded Sports. So good morning. I come to you guys from my living room at 3:46 AM. I have just managed to upload 2 new videos to YouTube. It's taken ages to do so. And then on the third video, what happened? Yes, the app decided to crash. Yep, so it crashed and I ended up having to redo it, and I was wondering why my Mac was running really slow. Well, it turns out that, believe it or not, we have a pending software update. So that basically means that I'm going to be sitting here for at least another 8 minutes till this downloads, and then I might actually finally get to my bed. Now, obviously, I'll be up probably a few hours time, probably about 5 or 6 hours to get the kids organised for school. Then again, I might actually manage to get a slightly longer lay-in tomorrow, because Pamela is probably going to be up bright and early because she is a morning person and I am definitely not a morning person. But anyway, that is the plan for tomorrow. Pamela is probably going to get the kids and hopefully allows me to get a little bit more of a sleep, and then I'll be back in the store around about 12 o'clock or 12:15
if we're aiming for us to be early. Hopefully that is not the case. Hopefully we're there pretty much on time tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff that has to get done and a lot of preparation stuff for the rest of the week. As you've seen already in the small early part of the video, we were in yesterday for a heat mould and a sharpening on a brand new pair of skates. What I also did was prep for a pair of gloves to be fixed, and there's another pair of gloves that have to be fixed as well, so hopefully we will be able to get some work done on them. But for the time being, I've got at least another 7 minutes left to go, but I won't bore you with me talking to you for at least another 7 minutes. I'll see you tomorrow bright and early.
So what time is it?
Time we weren't here. 12:10.
I'm not 100% sure. Oh, there we go, the light's starting to get slightly better. So what were you just talking about? What were you saying?
That little arsehole.
What one?
That one with the white paws.
Lily, what did she do?
She chewed the
Rattan furniture?
pillow, yes.
The pillow
Bit.
for that? Okay. You look really happy about it.
Well, she destroyed her own bed.
Oh,
You need
did
a
she?
beep in there.
Yeah, well,
She destroyed her own bed for the last week, and then that wasn't good enough. She went and destroyed my pillow and my rattan furniture. I knew she was too quiet. I either thought they had ran away again.
It's like you know when you're up to something and you're quiet as well.
Come on, hurry up.
Bye, big boy. So we're trying stuff a little bit different today. Again, I'm going to try and use the GoPro when I'm in the back working, but if I'm actually talking to you guys, I'm going to use the Canon with the mic and all that kind of stuff, because it seems to pick up a lot better and it looks a lot better as well. It's a lot clearer. So anyway, today has been quite an interesting day. It is now 1:25 in the afternoon. It has been a case of me being welded to the skate sharpening machine, and basically multiple skate sharpenings came in. There's been a pair of figure skates that's been sold straight away off the bat, which needed a press as well. The customer had tried them on and had a slight protruding bone, so Pamela had obviously dealt with the sale of that one, and I had to do the press. There's been a couple of pairs of goalie skates in as well that have to be sharpened. Most of the goalie skates over here will be skating on anywhere between a half and a 3/8, which usually find it's in between, which is a 7/16. Then we've had a pair of inlines that's been dropped in, which I've got to get new rivets and new eyelets for a tournament in Belgium, so I'm going to get that done today as well. I haven't had a chance to go on to do any of the glove repairs yet, but I will try and get them done today, or start them at least. I think the small glove should be relatively straightforward because I've got most of the leather already templated out and cut out for it. I may have made a slight mistake on that, but I will go back and double check on it and see before I decide to sew anything onto the glove. I will make sure that the palm is the right, or the new part of the palm is exactly the way I want it. So anyway, while this is happening, while I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to just quickly pick up the camera and ask Pamela how her day is and what's came in so far. So Pamela, what is happening?
I've had a customer in. Her daughter's looking for goalie pads and would prefer Warrior, so I'm on having a look to see if there's any clearance Warriors. Obviously we've got a product change coming with the G something whatever pads are getting changed, so some of the G6s are on clearance. Are we already on G7s? I'm lost.
We're on G6s at the moment, for what I remember.
G6s are slightly reduced, so I'm going to try and get the best customer the price. Customer the best price. And then I've got some bits and pieces, check up on some steels that we've got ordered for Laurie that have been out of stock for a wee while, with the JRZs, XL black short covers for Matthew, and a goalie buckle that we need to find. So all this to do, and I've also got figure skate inquiries, back order inquiries, and some end of year reports to send to the accountant. So yes, lots to do.
Lots to do. Using this camera in here is a bit different because it seems to be picking up the light from the outside and it's making you very, very dark, so I might actually have to move slightly. There we go, that's you. You've got the better lighting now, and I've got the back of your head because you're just too busy.
I'm busy.
Busy. So I was originally going to set up in time lapse me doing the glove repair, but I decided that I was just going to do it because the customer actually turned up a wee bit earlier than what was planned. Originally I was told that they were going to turn up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock this afternoon. I don't have the time right now, actually I do. It is 2:36 in the afternoon and I have just finished the replacement. So obviously, as I said before, that part of the palm was absolutely destroyed. and there was a slight hole just behind here, so I have put a new piece of leather in here and sewn it into place and glued it into place so that the customer can go on their way. With regards to these inlines that we have, and most of the eyelets are coming out and most of the eyelets are damaged, so I'm going to take all of the eyelets out. I've already started trying to take them out at the moment, so all the ones on this side are done and all of the ones on this skate are actually removed, but I have a customer in at the moment and the customer has asked for a slight shape change on a set of steels, a pair of Shift Max steels. So what he's asking is to make it a wee bit more fluent at the toe and a wee bit more fluent at the heel so that we can actually get a little bit more turning. Obviously it's a very stiff skate, although it is a bottom of the range catless skate that he's got at the moment, the 3X4. What we're actually going to do with these skates is try and see if we can get a slightly less of a grind on it. So it may have been done at a 3/8, so we might actually put them on a 1/2 inch and change the shape of the steel to allow them to get a little bit more glide and obviously to help with cornering. So with the inlines are actually going to need to have the rivets replaced as well. As we can see, the chassis is actually starting to come off of the boot, so we'll replace the rivets as well. But I'll not time lapse the steels, but I'll come back and time lapse the inlines for you guys in a little while. Well, it's now 5:01 in the afternoon. Technically the store is now closed and I'm still working. I'm actually just now getting the chance to have a look at these inlines to try and see if I can get the work done on them. It's going to be relatively quickly done with the eyelets. I may have to see if the eyelets are actually going to go in properly, because the holes in these, they seem as if it's a very, very small eyelet hole. So I may have to get creative on the way that I do that. I may have to drill them out, make them slightly bigger. Then again, I might not. It just depends if I can get them to sit properly in the actual press and see if I can get them in that way. The next thing I'm going to then have to do is obviously take out the rivets and replace the rivets. They are in dire need of rivet replacement because, as I said earlier on, you can actually see just here that I can more or less get a screwdriver. It's very hard to do with one hand, but you can get the screwdriver in underneath the chassis and the actual boot itself, which means that the rivets have basically failed and they're going to have to be replaced. So that is the plan. I'm going to try and get that done as quickly as possible so I can then get to the gym. But then again, I'm going to have to give myself a little bit of time because I've literally just had my breakfast and it's, like I say, it's only just turned 5 o'clock or 2 minutes past 5. So it's one of these things, when you run a business at times, you're busy constantly and you forget to eat, and that's one of my major things that I do, is I forget to eat. I know that it doesn't look as if I forget to eat with the size and build of me, but I definitely do. So anyway, let's get started and we'll get this one done.
Everything stops when you move like that, yeah. Everything stops when you move like that, yeah. Everything stops when you move like that, and I wanna get in close to you. It's what I'm gonna do, 'cause right now I'm in it.
So you may be wondering why I'm doing one at a time and not doing multiple, as in putting all of the actual collars and sleeves in and then putting one in here and then splaying it. The reason being is the holes are slightly too narrow. So what I tend to find is if I put the locator in, this part into the actual eyelet itself, the actual hole, if we do it that way, I can put the new collar over the top of it and the new sleeve in and then press it down and it goes in nice and fine, but it's a little bit longer to do. Not that much longer, just a little bit, but at the same point it still does exactly the same job. And now, as we can see, that's the first skate all done with regards to the eyelets. Rivets are next on this one, but I'll need to get the eyelets done in this one first, so I won't bore you with the time lapse in that one. I'll get back on to the next time lapse of the rivets and I'll get both of them done at the same time. guys might be wondering why I had to take a drill to the chassis to try and basically open the hole up. Now the reason why I had to do that is the rivets were so bad that they had corroded, and when I was pressing them through, as we can see, the rivets are meant to be a lot longer than this. There isn't very much of the rivet left. It's deteriorated to the point where it was jammed and stuck in the actual boot itself. So there's a couple of ways you can get them out. You can press them out, you can drill them out, and I personally just find drilling them out is the easiest way to go. It means that you're not having any obstructions. You can actually see all the way through. You can see daylight just round about here. That's the reason why you do it. You basically drill them out. It's not making the actual chassis any, how would I put it, it's not making the chassis brittle in any way, shape or form. It's just making sure that you're actually having somewhere that the rivet can actually go. If the hole is actually jammed when you try and put a rivet in, obviously you won't be able to get the rivet all the way through, and then when you go and try and splay the rivet, you'll actually damage it because you're actually not splaying the new rivet, you're actually splaying an old rivet that's basically it's lodged in there. So as we can see, this is the damage, this is what's left of the rivets. There's not really that much of them left. The deterioration in them is unbelievable. As we can see, that's more like a full size one here, but most of them were all sitting around about that size. So you're talking about a couple mil off of the top of the actual rivet itself. Even if you were to compare it to the smallest rivet we stock, which is a 1/2 inch steel, you can actually see that the 1/2 inch steel is actually smaller than that one. So it will be longer rivets, but if you then look at the one in comparison to it just here, this one here, that's how much deterioration there has been from the actual rivet. More than half of it itself has deteriorated and rusted away. So we're going to put some new rivets in there. The coppers genuinely look okay. They don't look too bad. They are very well splayed from the factory. Oh yes, they do look a bit old, and the chassis does look a bit pitted and it's started to corrode a little bit, but that's just obviously because you have an aluminium chassis on a steel rivet. So aluminium and steel, if most people will know, they don't get on with each other that well, so you probably find that's why there's a little bit of corrosion in the chassis. So what we're going to do, like I say, is try and see if we can get on, get them riveted, and then we can finish up for tonight. The time currently is 5:43, and like I say, it's like Pamela said earlier on, it's been visitors galore today. We had another visitor in just as I was just about to start this job. They came and they went, and now obviously I am in the process of trying to get this done. So let's see if we can get finished up for tonight. Just quickly for the geeks that want to know what size of rivet that I'm actually using, I'm actually using a 5/8 steel rivet. If you can notice there that I've actually put second smallest because that's the second smallest one we stock. This is the way I worked it out ages ago when we first started, and I just haven't changed it. So that's a 5/8 steel which will be used at the front of the actual chassis, and we're going to be using a 3/4 rivet at the heel because the heel was slightly thicker to get through just in this area here. So two different sizes of rivets that we're going to use, so we'll get them done now.
When you're dancing at night, I feel your heartbeat in my dreams sometimes. If you ever need me, you can hit my line. I'm one call away, girl.
So that's me back after the time lapse, and that is the skate now finished. Obviously all the eyelets have been done and all of the steel rivets have been done as well. You might have seen me struggling slightly with regards to making the actual rivet splay properly. Now there is different sizes of dies that we've got for this. Now I'm going to show you them just quickly and you can get a kind of rough idea of how these work. They've got 3 different sizes, okay? So when I first got the riveter, you're probably talking in the first year of having the store. So this one here was the first size of die that we got for installation of steel rivet, and that was when we first got the machine, or when we first got that riveter there. way back when we just first started the shop. You're probably talking like a year or maybe 2 years into it. We tried to see if we could locate one and we couldn't get one. We actually were talking to Blackstone at the time. I think they had their own styler riveter, but it was going to be too expensive to get, and then we managed to get the Gus Pro Blademaster one, which was second hand from one of our suppliers who was updating their kind of back catalogue of stuff that they had. So then the second die that we got, which comes with the installation splayer, I call it a splay tool, but this little part here came with the second size one. So the second size one, as you can see, is a little bit longer, and then you also have an additional one. This one here is the same as these two, but they're made for inlines. So you would have seen that I was using this one to start with, and because this one was actually working okay, I went with that to try and see if it would work. Then I realised that I maybe have to have a little bit extra length. Went to that one, it wasn't long enough, and then we went to this one and that sorted it out. Inline skates are very pernickety, and what I mean by that is they're very finicky in the sense that there's not really much room to work with on the inline chassis, because when you go and try and put your rivets in, as you can see, if you try and put that press tool in, the press tool will be right up against your chassis and it will foul on the chassis. So that's why they make the slightly longer ones, or this longer variants. Now we've got that installation tool for that one, and we've obviously got a copper installation tool for this one as well, which also comes with another part which is one in the drawer. I'm not going to bore you and show you all of that just now, but anyway, that is the skates done for today, and that is me finished for today. So all I've got left to do right this very second, believe it or not, while I'm talking to you guys, I'm doing my last thing for today, which is putting the insole back in the skate. The next thing I've got to do, I say that was the last thing, it's not. I've got to put a new pair of laces in them. I can do that tomorrow when I come back into the store, but for tonight that is me finished, and the next job you will probably get to see, hopefully, is me starting these. It just depends how busy we're going to be tomorrow night. Now, actually having a proper look at these gloves, as you can see, the finger is near enough totally destroyed, so what I'm going to have to do is find a finger from another glove and try and sew it into this area here. Just do one finger, and then obviously with regards to the thumb, see if I can just replace this area here. Now, most of the time when you're doing a repair like this, you would take this part off, you would replace the whole palm, but the rest of the palm is actually okay. The main culprit right now is it's through both layers, and because it's through both layers, there's only one layer of that I'm going to be able to replace, and that's the grey part here, the dark grey part. I'll replace that dark grey part and just leave the hole in this. The reason being for that is the material that I'm actually using is slightly thicker and will make up the deficit of having the hole in the other material. On the other side, there's not really that many repairs that's going to have to get done. Again, there is a slight hole in that one, which means it's probably going to be a finger out job for that one as well. Take the fingers out of them. I have got a couple of pairs of sacrifice gloves that I can use with palms that are not the greatest but not the worst, so I can get them on and then get the customer on his way. Now, once these gloves are fixed, he has a spare pair of gloves that's going to be getting brought in, and they're going to be getting fixed also. So that will be 2 full repairs on both pairs of gloves for this customer. Now, again, the cost of the repairs is probably going to be about, I would probably say anywhere between £20 and £30. And that's actually quite good in comparison. If you're then talking about having that repair over 2 gloves, you're then talking about £40 to £60, depending on how much time it takes to be able to do the actual repair. When you're having to do one individual finger, it can be a long laborious task because you have to make sure it's done properly. And when I say you've got to make sure it's done properly, you've got to make sure it's all lined up and your template that you've made is the right size for the glove. Once that's out the road, then you've got the laborious task of trying to sew it into place, which means a lot of tack stitches and like tacking it in place, and then taking about your job with the speedy stitcher, which can again be a bit of a pain in the butt. But at the same point, it's just one of these things. It's the best way, in my opinion, for me to be able to fix that, other than taking the full palm off and running it through the sewing machine. Now again, if you're having to take the full palm off, your job then is 10 times longer, because you're having to burst all of the stitching and then reinstall the palm onto the actual glove, and that just takes way too much time. So the quickest and easiest way for me to be able to do that job in a timely manner is just do one finger at a time. So again, it's still going to be cheaper than buying a brand new pair of gloves, which is the thing that we have said that we're trying to do, is try and save people as much money as possible. Now yes, I can understand that a lot of people would maybe say to me that, Stephen, that's not really a cost effective repair for the amount of time that you're spending on it. I understand that. I personally would have preferred to be able to just put a brand new palm on them, both sets of gloves that this customer's bringing in, because I think it's exactly the same place where he's having the issues. But unfortunately we can't get palms in the UK, and we're having a problem trying to locate palms from other countries as well, due to all of these crazy tariffs that are on things. Yes, it's a situation that we're in where we have to do what we're doing just now to be able to keep a lot of skates on the go, and gloves as well. But for the rollerblades, like I say, they are now ready to go. There may be an issue with one of the bearings at the back on one of them. It seems as if it's sticking slightly, and just by chance I actually have a packet of bearings that I opened to do a repair for someone else. So I have a spare set, a couple of Bevo bearings that I may actually throw in them just to be on the safe side, just so that the customer isn't put out when he goes to his tournament and his bearings aren't working at all. I think it's the left skate is not rolling very well. The bearing is pretty much done, so I'm going to take that out and then change the bearings in this one. They're not moving very well, the actual wheels themselves, but again, knowing this customer, he will not be looking at spending that much money on getting them fixed. So anyway, that's not a dig at the customer in any way, shape or form. It's just we all know that money's tight at the moment, so we have to make do and mend.